you about NEPT today. I know we're all in a tight time frame, so I'll try and keep it short. I could talk all day about NEPT, month, year. But basically, the QAS used to basically has an antiquated system when we're requesting non-emergency patient transports. So what we've done is we've created a new online platform to improve the processes for Queensland Health and private medical facilities in requesting non-emergency patient transport, whether that's via faxing the form or calling us on 13 12 33. So there are 3 different types of NEPT users. So a general user would be your people who are making requests every day. Not a lot of doctors are in here because the majority of requests are being created by your administration officers or your RNs or your CNs. Validation users are more around your big transit lounges. So everything goes through them before coming to QAS. So not a lot of places in Cairns have taken us up on that. In fact, no one has. I'd say it's more for your bigger hospitals like in the southeast. And then we have administrative.
Sarah, sorry, did you think you were sharing your screen? Because I've just got a blank screen.
Oh, do you?
I don't know if anyone else has.
I have a screen.
Oh, okay.
You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a screen.
We can see it.
Oh, okay. It's just me. Sorry. Not sure what that is.
Sorry, I can send
That's
a copy
okay.
to everybody after as well if you like.
No worries. I thought it might be blank.
Yeah,
for
that
everyone.
would
Sorry.
be. A copy would be good too, please, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely, no problems.
I'll send them with the minutes.
Excellent, thank you. And then we have administrator users. So that might be your DOMs, your NUMs, your practice managers. It could be your clinical nurses. But they're the people that look after creating new people in the system if you get new staff come along. And we do recommend a minimum of 3 administrated users. So if someone's on a day off, there's always going to be someone there. Some of the best people to be administrated users are also your AOs or your administrating officers to help manage those referring clinicians and those users as well.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
I don't know how I've muted myself. I'm not really technologically advanced. Sorry about that. So our system has the ability to generate emails or SMSs to patients 72 hours before their appointment to let them know that QAS is coming. But I suppose a lot of patients living in aged care or residential facilities probably don't need that. It does have inbuilt email notifications for doctors to let them know that someone has requested non-emergency patient transport on their behalf on their provider number. So they get an email to say that Chief Wiggum in this example from has approved patient transport. Now on that email, it doesn't have a patient name or date of birth because of privacy reasons we can't do that. But what we are doing is putting an enhancement into the system by the new year that will at least have who was the requesting facility and the name of the person that requested it. So if the doctor wanted to follow up, they could actually reach out to that requesting facility. And it also sends user creation passwords. So if you do lock yourself out or you create a new person, it sends system generated emails to welcome them and passwords and things like that as well. So if you've not yet onboarded, what happens is we request medical facilities to fill in an online form, which will be available via the website when we roll out to everywhere. And basically from here, we validate that your facility is accurate. We make sure that it's accurate in our systems, including all your wards or sub areas or sections. It will create your very first administrator, who will have the ability to create all the other users. And then from there, it links all of the information with our CAD system as well. So NEPT commenced in the Cairns and Hinterland HHS from the 12th of June 2023, which was our pilot location. And then communication was sent out by the PHNs, including Torres and Cape, on the 29th of June 2023. So I'm just curious, did everybody receive this communication from the PHN group?
No.
No? Okay. So within this communication that came out from the PHN group was the NEPT information package around what NEPT is, what we've done to create it, and everything else associated with it, getting you ready to onboard. And then in that link was the new facility access request form as well. So with that, there are currently 33 residential aged care facilities within NEPT for the Cairns and Hinterland and Torres and Cape area. We have 485 requests for non-emergency patient transports being created since the 12th of June, and there are 117 NEPT users within residential aged care facilities, and only 32 of those people are facility administrators to create new people and manage your, authorising doctors and your patient profiles. So with every application, there is always some challenges that we come across with technology. One of those is when filling in the form and requesting pickup of a patient, rather than selecting that you want to pick up or drop off a patient at the facility or nursing home, people are opting to select other and typing in an address. So for example, the Bupa Cairns, people will type in Bupa Cairns rather than selecting the Bupa from the facility nursing home option, which talks directly to our computer-aided dispatch system and lets us know exactly where we need to go and pick that patient up within a facility, whether it's in Grevillea ward or Hibiscus or something like that. It is a simple process to fix. It's just a matter of typing the name of the facility that you want to go to in the global search function at the top. And in this example, if you just type Cairns Hospital, it brings up anything with Cairns Hospital in the title for selection. The other one is also the transport type. So we always used to ask around what is the code associated with the non-emergency patient transport, and we've moved to the type of transport. So if you want to go in for an appointment, then you're coming into an appointment from a facility or nursing home. And then the return of the inpatient to facility or nursing home is only used if it's a one-way trip. So if you select the to appointment, you'll be able to then select a return trip within that appointment to return the patient as well. Any questions before I give you a bit of a demo of what the system looks like? No news is good news. So can everybody see my screen at the moment?
Yep.
Yep. So this is the default page of the NEPT request system once you log in. So for private facilities logging in, I'll just bring up what that will look like. So once you get your profile created, you'll be logging in via the username and password section, and that will then take you to that navigation page default that I was just showing you. QAS and Queensland Health will log on via a button where we've tapped into a single sign-on for them. So once they're here, this is the request form that a facility fills in. So this is just a demo page where I've got Bolton Clark. So who's requesting it and what section? So this is where you would select its Hibiscus or its first floor. Patients, so unfortunately we've not been able to link any patient data with Queensland Health due to legal and privacy reasons. So every patient will need to be created for at least the first time via the new patient record. But once it's created, that patient will be available every time for selection thereafter. So for this one, we've got Lily Lilac is already a patient. So once the patient's in there, it's just a matter of selecting it, and then that patient's profile will be generated after it. The next one is around patient mobility. So if the patient can step up 2 steps, the eligibility criteria for ambulance transport will pop up. If you select none, it's not going to stop you from booking because there could be something in the clinical condition, such as the patient having dementia, so they can't transport themselves, or they're living in residential aged care and they have mobility issues. So don't be frightened by if that comes up. So if they can step up 2 steps, you would just select none and then continue with your process. There is the one with can be transported in a seated position. In a wheelchair, means that they're wheelchair bound. However, in Cairns in particular, only the Cairns central area offer wheelchair services. So if you do have a patient who's wheelchair bound, just select stretcher patient, because we can't safely secure wheelchairs unless we've got the appropriate vehicle to do so. Then we've got, well, where do we want to pick the patient up from? So because you're filling this in, we've actually defaulted it to your facility. So not very often you're going to be making a change here, but where do we want to transport the patient to? So in this one here, we want to go to the Cairns Hospital. So it's just a matter of clicking the magnifying glass, typing Cairns Hospital, hitting enter to initiate the search, saying, well, I want to go to the Cairns Hospital and I want to take them to, say, the eye clinic. So if we just type in eye, it'll bring up anything with eye in it. And then we say, well, that's where we want to take the patient to. The transport type, well, we're coming to an appointment from a facility nursing home. And because I've now made that selection, you'll see the return trip checkbox here is available to make sure that we have a return trip generated for them. We then click on the calendar to select, well, what is the transport date and time? So we'll say next Monday at 10 o'clock. It is 24 hours time. It will then create a box for you just to say that you should have the patient ready from 8 o'clock, because QAS has a 2-hour window of picking up patients, because we do pick patients up along the way where we could have 3 or 4 patients in a vehicle, depending on the vehicle type that's been dispatched to you. Do they require a return trip? Just a matter of ticking the box. If it's a multi-trip, so for your dialysis or oncology patients, you can select that they want to go Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and you can book up to 12 weeks in advance as well if you wanted to. It will actually populate all the dates of transports, and it will notify you if it falls on any public holiday as well. Don't know why that says, oh yeah, New Year's Day 2024. God, that's gone quick, hasn't it? The clinical information, so this is a free text field where you can type whatever you want to, post-surgery, anything that you want QAS to know about it. For the purpose of today, I'm just going to write sick, but please don't write just sick. Infectious disease, depressed immunity and bariatric is asked on every job because it can change from day to day for some people. If you select no, you can just move on. If you select yes, it will ask for some additional information. If the patient is bariatric, it will ask, well, what is the weight of the patient and the width at the widest point? If you don't know, you can just type unknown. At least it tells us that we need to send a supervisor to come and assess to make sure that we send the right resource and equipment to help transport that patient. So don't select no because you're not sure, just type unknown. It's a free text field for you to fill in for it. Special services, you probably won't use IV much, but we can have active monitoring and capped or bunged. Does the patient require cardiac monitoring, oxygen or suction? If you do select cardiac monitoring, you'll see paramedic skill gets ticked straight away because our patient transport officers can't do cardiac monitoring, but they can facilitate oxygen. If you select an escort of non-clinical, it will ask you the reason why, because obviously we have a set number of resourcing and seats to transport people. So we would need to understand the reason why. And it could just be a husband coming with his wife because she has dementia for transport. Referring clinician, so who's the authorising doctor? So under the Ambulance Service Act, it's quite clear that it needs to be under the medical opinion that the patient requires ambulance transport that sets within the eligibility criteria, which we discussed above. So for the first time, you will need to create your referring clinician, and it is a mandatory requirement for the patient, the doctor's first and last name, their email address and their provider number as well. And this is where they then get a generated email each time someone has requested transport on behalf of their provider number. Once that doctor has been created once, they'll be available for selection every time after that. We do talk a little bit around the carry-on luggage, just because we need to be able to safely secure it for transport. And we talk a little bit about assistance animals as well. There is a privacy confirmation statement we should be providing to our patients. We tick the box, and then all we have to do is hit the submit button. If you are missing any information, it will tell you, so you can't submit it without it. But in this example, everything was filled in, and now that booking has come to QAS. So you don't actually need to call us anymore to say, did you get a fax, or we're ringing you saying you're missing information. That will come straight to us. Any booking that your facility makes will always be available on this left-hand navigation menu, My Facility Requests. And you'll be able to come in here and have a look at any time a job has been confirmed. If for your records, as a part of your best practice, is to get the QAS confirmation number, if you click within that request, and then just on one of the trips down the bottom here, so this is the appointment trip here, the QAS confirmation number will be available for you to actually pop into any paperwork that you might need to document in the future. These records will be available to you at any time as well. So it's a simple process of popping it in. At any point, you can actually come in and cancel a request as well, or if the appointment time changes, you can come and make that change as well without having to call us. The only time that you need to make contact with us is if it's within 2 hours of the appointment. It comes into our computer-aided dispatch system, and that's where one of our employees starts looking at, well, how can I coordinate and make sure this patient meets their appointment on time? Additionally, on this left-hand side here, down the bottom under Facility Administrator, most users only have patients, so they can go in and have a look at a patient. If a patient passes away, you can mark them deceased, and then it will close every job in NEPT, and then you just ring us to let them know they passed away. But for a facility administrator, this is where you have access to create all your new staff or employees as well. All your doctors. So if a doctor, I know doctors come and go from facilities. So if you wanted to come in and this doctor's now moved away and is no longer one of your referring clinicians, you can just untick it and hit update and it's gone. If that doctor returns, it's just a matter of clicking on the all breadcrumb, opening up that doctor, reactivating, and then they'll be available for selection after that. And then at the very bottom is just your facility data. And while you can't modify any of it, it gives you oversight across pretty much everything. So in this example, there's 2 patients, there's 3 wards. I only have 1 referring clinician. We've made 4 requests for transport, and support tasks are how you can ask for help if something's not working for you. And while all of this looks like a lot, what we have done is inbuilt a website for facilities, both Queensland Health and private, that provides an online training package that people can complete, a range of quick reference guides and videos on how do I cancel a NEPT request, and then there's a step-by-step process on how to do that for you. There's also training manuals and frequently asked questions and answers, and that's always available to staff via the NEPT link, which is the help icon at the top here. Because you may not use it frequently or you just can't remember how to do something, it's available for you as well. So that's NEPT pretty much in a nutshell. The Torres and CAPE I've not been able to tap into yet, both Queensland Health or private really. So I'm keen to find out from you, Nick, about your facility and whether or not you've registered, because you probably won't use a lot of ambulance transport, but I would assume QAS transports a lot of patients to you.
Correct. Yeah, there's a long history there. They never used to take our dialysis patients for the first few years. So we'd have to do that ourselves because they had fatigue or this or that. But there's a new crew here now and they're much better. They've done a transport today for us. So we've certainly seen a lot of improvement. But right at the beginning, when I booked my first non-urgent ambulance transport to the hospital, I was told no. And I said,
and it is about the eligibility criteria and acute resourcing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like some of them might be fatigued because they've been out all night.
Yeah, there's only one permanent full-time officer here, so but we're having more luck now than we ever have.
Oh, that's excellent. So is your facility registered?
Yes.
Excellent. And using NEPT?
No, probably not on this. No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm happy
No,
to
it's
send the
good.
information package again to go out with the minutes so you can register your facility.
Thank you.
And then it will create your access for the first time. You can then hop on and do the online training session. And what we do offer there is also Teams training sessions like this.
Yep.
To help you as well, because sometimes it's great to look at it, but it's better to actually see it in action. So you have it open. We talk you through how to create a patient's profile, and then from there you can then go forth and do everybody else basically.
Awesome. Thank you.
And all of those links and everything are in that welcome or getting ready package for NEPT.
Thanks. That'd be great, Sarah. I don't know if Warina is registered either.
I can actually have a peek for you right now. Warina Nursing Home at Gundi Hill.
Yeah.
Yep. So you've got one administrator user, Amish.
Rishma. Yeah, she's gone. Yeah.
So she's the only one that had access to NEPT.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So if you
we'll
want
work that out.
If you want to flick me an email with your details or someone that's going to be an admin to start with,
sure,
I can create the access for you.
Yep.
And then we can set up a training session and everything else.
Okay.
Can you please check Caravonica Waters?
Caravonica is 15 Lake Placid Road, just checking.
Yes.
Yep. You have 2 users. You have a generic user, which is the caravonica.nurse at Infinite Care, and you've got Natasha Frank at Infinite. They're both users and registered nurses attached to this. I'm just having a look at who's your administrator.
So when you circulate the pack, it's got your contact details on it, Sarah, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure that
the
NEPT email address is in there, and then my mobile number. We generally don't have a contact number because we move around, but I'm happy to pass mine on. Is there anyone else want me to check their facility? No? Excellent. Any other questions? I understand it's a big change because for over a decade, probably even 2 decades, we just received like a phone call or a fax form. So this has been a really big change for both QAS and facilities. So we do acknowledge that, but it is the way of the future technology. It may not be the solution to every problem, but it's better than we can't read handwriting or it's being faxed the wrong way, wrong side up. We get that a lot. And then also like just trying to read people's handwriting and heaps of missing information. And then we're constantly calling you and everybody's busy. Like it's terrible. So this system pops it in and then we can just get it all done.
Lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sarah.
So, sorry, to add a new user, do we need to contact you or?
No, that's something you can do.
Okay.
So do you have access?
No, I don't have.
No. So if you flick me an email, like I can show you how easy it is to do. Do you mind if I demonstrate to this group?
No worries. All good.
No, that's fine.
No. Yeah.
I'll do it in the development area just because it's easier and you can see how you do it.
Yeah.
And then I'll go and create you in the real environment.
Yeah.
So I'll just do it in this one for now, but all you do is come to users on the left-hand navigation menu here. You click the new button at the top. You type in the user ID, and this is where we recommend it be the person's email address or something that they're going to remember, basically. So I'll just do that for you for now.
Yeah.
You an RNCN manager?
Facility manager.
Manager. So then what you do is you click on this lock item here, and then when you click on the magnifying glass, the only facility you're going to have in there is yours. So unless you work across 2 different facilities,
Yeah.
you'll only have one for selection. And then
Okay.
you've got to just lock it in, Eddie, I call it. So basically you're creating this user who is a facility manager to Bolton Clark.
Yep.
And then your email address, I'll just put a fake one in for now.
Yep.
And then the contact phone number for the person. And this is the number that you want QAS to ring you on at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning if you put a request in. So when you're creating your staff members, if there's an RN number that you want us to call, pop that number in there.
Yeah.
Now, once you've done that, you just hit submit. But now we've only created a profile for you. What we've not given you is permissions to access. So what happens is you would come back and click on your access, and you'll now notice you've got your groups and roles down the bottom here. You click edit, and then what permissions do you want to give someone? Are they just going to be a general user, or are they going to become a facility admin? So for you, you'd be a facility administrator. So you'd want to add the private facility administrator role as well as your facility name.
Yep.
Hit save.
You want to pick the boy up?
Hit update, and then that's it. So
Right.
that's the process you have to do for every single user within your facility.
Okay.
Now, if they happen to forget their password, once you've done that, they can come down here to that front page and click password reset.
Okay.
And then it will send a email to the email address that you've put in there. What we have noticed is a lot of people are using generic email accounts that they don't have access to. So there's some things just to consider when that does happen. But one of the enhancements we are going to do is giving you the ability as a facility administrator to actually change their password yourself. Instead of, if like they can't do it from that front, you can do it on their behalf. Yeah, so we're going to pop that in there for you to be able to do. And I'm hoping that will be in there probably within the next 6 weeks as an issue that's been identified from the pilot as well. So I can go and create you. Can you just send me your contact number and email address?
Yes, I can.
I'll just pop up my PowerPoint presentation that has, that's the email address there, that NEPT ambulance.
Okay.
So if you email me all your details, so the best contact number for you, the email address, I'll create you as a facility administrator. You receive 2 emails. One is a welcome email, and the other is a password reset, which is a one-time password. As soon as you log in, it will prompt you to change that password.
Yeah.
And then you will have control and be able to give anyone access. But I'd highly recommend having a couple of admin people. So if you take leave or it's a weekend or a night and someone comes on board, then they can do something on your behalf, basically. Any other questions? Like I said, I'm happy to do some more Teams training sessions anytime. Just let us know.
I think once I send through the pack details, you might get a few responses.
Excellent.
And what I'll be doing is just doing a little short video of the presentation that you've done today.
Yep.
And I'll send that around to the entire group, and then they can have a look and a demonstration.
Wonderful. All right, well, thank you very much for your time. I know it's valuable. I'll send everything through to you and we'll go from there.
Appreciate it. That was great.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks very much.